Welcome to the Super Sam Show. This is episode 2, Attachment. Today we'll be talking about the word attachment. Um, it's something that I learned, I'm not gonna lie, through Buddhism. One of the things it teaches you is to not be attached to things, and I found that crazy. You know what I mean? A little bit, because I knew that I was kind of attached to everything, you know what I mean? Like attached to my video games, attached to my brother, my sister, my mom. Like there's some type of attachment, connection, something that, you know what I mean, that holds us together. Um, and that's what I thought when it said, when Buddhism tells you to not be attached, pretty much to anything almost. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but let's go right in by looking up the word attachment. Affection, fondness, or sympathy for someone or something. So to not have affection, fondness, or sympathy for someone or something, that just sounds crazy. Like an affectionate relationship between two people, you know what I mean? That's crazy. That's considered attachment. There's a lot of people that I have affection for. I understand what they're saying. So I guess a situation where you would hold back from affection is if maybe someone needs tough love or something of that sort. Just in a situation where you should pull back on your affection. And maybe some situations where you should pull back on your fondness. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you thought you were cool with this person from a distance, and all of a sudden you guys, you know what I mean, get in a close range, or maybe you guys are alone together and someone shows some fondness that they shouldn't have. So, in that way, don't be attached. I can see how practicing not being attached. So, situations where you have to have tunnel vision, just not being attached to things. If you say you're gonna go do something and you plan on doing it 100%, there's gonna be these moments in time where you're gonna have to cut attachment. So I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, because that's all perspective, right? Because you probably aren't crying when this person is expecting you to, you know what I mean, show that sympathy, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right or wrong, you know. Showing that you like someone a certain way, maybe for business reasons, is the only thing I can think of right now. Maybe you like your teacher, but you can't just be like, I mean, nowadays you probably can and get away with some shit, but that's beside the point, you know? You're supposed to be. So the Buddhist concept is referring to attachment as like clinging, grasping. And one of the things is in Buddhism is the main cause of suffering. There's these things called the Four Noble Truths. The first truth is that suffering, pain, and misery exist in life. The second truth is that this suffering is caused by selfish craving and personal desire. The third truth is that this selfish craving can be overcome. The fourth truth is that the way to overcome this misery is through the eightfold path. So it leads to 8 aspects that should be practiced: right views, intentions, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. So, to be attached to something, to desire for an object, to want to be attached to something, in one way or the other, you will suffer. The first truth. And you wanting this thing is causing the suffering. The second truth. This can be overcome. You can't get over this. Whatever. Maybe it is, maybe it's not for different people. But it can be overcome. That's the third truth. The fourth truth is that there is just a path that leads to the end of the suffering. You just got to take it. That's the fourth truth. So for a long time in my life, I was attached to football. This is funny. I was attached to football. I played since I was a kid, right? By the time I was out of high school, I didn't even want to play anymore. But I was so attached to this thing because it was me. It's what I did. But then it took me a few years to finally take that path leading to the fourth truth from the first. Take that path and make, I guess, end the suffering. I cut loose. But what helped that was finding MMA. Now, another thing that I'm attached to, but it's just the practice. And with the practice comes better control of your emotions. You know what I mean? Like better control of yourself as a human. Because in these moments where you have to stay strong, you practice being strong emotionally so you know what it takes. You've practiced. I struggle with this because I like being attached to things. And I guess I'm okay. I'm okay with dealing with the pain and I guess the suffering that comes along with being attached to things. But isn't that the balance? In moments I practice not being attached, and then at moments I practice being attached. It also help me be attached. I know when I'm being detached. Sometimes I don't know. It's an autopilot thing. I learned in high school or after high school and college. Recently, someone told me that, not recently, maybe like 3 years ago, someone told me that, hey, not everybody's going to like you. But I was so attached to the idea of everybody liking me and trying to find a way to make that possible. You know what I mean? At times I even lost myself, But over the time, I took that path. I practiced detachment to that idea, to that, I guess even that version of me, We all got this version of us that we can either detach ourselves from or reattach ourselves to. One of the things that brought me to wanting to do this topic was just thinking about myself, my younger self, like super attached to who I was as a kid, There was times where I had to face life and I wasn't always happy with it. So there was things that I did as a kid that either made me feel better or made me block out the world. And it wasn't drugs. The main thing though is video games. That's why I probably remember more video games than actual things that happened in my childhood. For the most part, just really attached to those old things. So I guess the main thing is to let go of attachment to people. I don't even think it's about suppressing your emotions, truly. It's like in that moment, you know what I mean? That's the practice. But in order to practice, you gotta be in those moments. So not being attached to things like definitely allows you to want to explore, makes you want to do other things. Mm. So not even like attachment is not even like abandonment. It's just emotionally, not saying I don't love you, but how I'm feeling right now will not be affected by whatever emotions you are projecting to me because I am not connected to that right now. But there's times, I guess, you practice attachment when someone comes at you with good energy and you feel good, you need good energy, or you're even exuding good energy and you guys connect then. But at some point, even that ends. So being attached to things, the suffering comes, I guess, from the path. You know what I mean? So why even take that path? Just cut yourself off. Just don't be attached. It's crazy. Because so it's like after you spend enough time with somebody, you begin to get attached. Like it doesn't just happen overnight. I feel like that with my son sometimes. But I kind of need it at times. Like right now, where he's going through that phase where he's got to detach from his us a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you were a baby at first. You were, 8 pounds. Your ass is 22, 25. It's hard to carry you all day, bud. You're hurting mommy and daddy's back. Nah, but that's what he's going through, a physical not being detachment. Um, he's in a little bit of pain right now too because he's teething, but he's also got to go sleep in his room by himself. I guess, and he's going to be crying and screaming because he wants to be with us. But he's got to learn how to be by himself. And I think that's what attachment and detachment, find a balance, because not always being attached teaches you how to be by yourself, for when that person's not there, for when that thing is not there. You've already had moments in your life where you've practiced and you think about that person not being there because you're attached. It hurts. You start suffering. But then you practice. Sometimes you don't want to practice. Sometimes you don't even want to not be attached. Like you don't want to detach. You just want to be there for a second and feel it. It's pretty crazy. And then at the end of the day, we're all humans. But yeah, felt like I rambled for a little bit, but for the most part, I'll let you guys go. Think about the stuff that I said. I'm still gonna ponder this probably for the rest of my life. So, if you guys got any questions, anything, you can comment here on YouTube, or you know what I mean. Just hit me up. You see me out here. I ain't even gotta tell you. Instagram, everything is Super Sam. So, all right, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.